Just a reminder then, this is how the Premier League looks going into the return of domestic football in Europe. And as it stands, Spurs and Arsenal top of the table. Some good games on Saturday. Arguably the most eye-catching is Chelsea against Arsenal. Chelsea, of course, currently sitting 11th. But they've looked all right in the last couple of games going into this clash. Oh.
Well, they haven't really played anybody of any.
No, but at least they've won. They've looked half decent, haven't they?
I mean, they beat Fulham, who are in the bottom half.
We'll go that far.
Well,
they won.
And they beat Burnley away, who have been kind of cannon fodder. This is the big test. You know, picking up a couple of wins, as you said, just took a modicum of pressure off Pochettino. But this is the big test. This is Arsenal coming off the back of that Man City win, which was huge for them and Arteta. Much the better side. Just depends whether everybody's come back fit and rosy after the international break.
Saka and Saliba are last-minute doubts, aren't they? That's what Arteta said today.
Well, we kind of thought Saka might have played in the City game. He didn't, so, I mean, clearly wasn't ready, so he's had, since a couple of weeks at least. So I would hope from an Arsenal perspective he's fit. But you know, Chelsea has been better, but Arsenal, the way they played against City, you've got to fancy them.
What are you expecting, Stevie?
So, the big game. You know, there are a lot of people who are hoping for a surprise in this game when you think about how the game has been built up to. Somehow, you find that some Chelsea fans are finding chest in this game, which is a little bit weird. Of course, we are being told by Mikel Arteta, like they just said, that Saliba and Saka could be some last-minute doubters of the game, as they don't look like they're fit enough to compete. But we all know, and we can all tell that whatever Arsenal team that comes out here, they should be able to do the job. They should be able to produce what's needed for this game to at least bring us something to smile about. It is a game that is going to give us so many, memories, a lot of things. This is a big test, like what Craig is talking about. There is a lot of things that could happen in this game. We could be surprised. Do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to Connect as we get in-depth look into analyzing and as I'm reacting to what we are expecting to see in this game. What can Chelsea really offer playing against Arsenal, which are actually second in the Premier League with almost the same price? A lot of people are we all know what they're saying, but what can they do today? That's the question that everyone is asking. So let's get into the video.
This game.
Well, from Chelsea, I don't know what I'm going to expect because it's tough to read them. I expect Arsenal to get after it and try and play the football the way that Arteta wants them to, regardless of being away from home. So I'm expecting Arsenal to dominate. And for Chelsea, I actually don't think this is about Chelsea winning the game. I think this is about how Chelsea compete. Because if they lose this game to Arsenal, which I expect them to, for me it depends on the manner of the defeat. Because if this is a shellacking, which is possible...
Do you think it really could be?
Absolutely. Absolutely could. Listen, we can't rely on Arsenal to score a goal. You know, I was listening... Chelsea, I beg your pardon. I was saying about how recently they've been scoring goals. Well, they scored 3, right? One was an own goal. The other one was a defender trying to clear the ball that hit the centre... what's the young kid's name? Played up front.
Jackson.
Help me out. No.
Modric.
No.
Okay.
No, sure, you don't even know. Come on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The kid was on loan at Southampton last year. Broya. Broya gets a goal.
He was
but it's
actually
actually
hanging there.
We
did that to me 2 weeks ago.
But it was a defender clearing the ball that hit him.
Right.
So they actually scored 1 goal.
Right.
So, listen, I don't see Chelsea scoring many goals, but as I said, I don't think for Chelsea, if they're really honest with themselves, for me, it's not about Chelsea winning a game. It's about actually competing.
Wow.
It is interesting from what Stevie Nicol is talking about here. We are looking at a team that is really trying to build their new class of play. They're trying to find their own way of playing. Of course, they have so many youngsters. You know, when you think about it, it reminds us of Arsenal back 2 or 3 years back when this squad was still just full of youngsters. But one thing that Arsenal had, which Chelsea don't have, is experience. Players who know how it's done. Chelsea have really decided to rewrite that book and start something else, which is new. So they are a team that are really trying to do something special. And when you talk of experience, the only player we can look at is only Sterling, and we all know that Sterling's still trying to find his feet into this club, coming from a city where everything was easy going, easy coming. So we all know that we expect Arsenal to win this game, but I think one point that Steven Nicol made so clearly was it's only about the manner of how Chelsea lose this game, because if they are going to try to go head on and try to play men against men, try to outplay Arsenal, they're going to get battered. Not only beaten, but battered. And it's going to actually be embarrassing to watch them being decimated the way we believe it's going to happen. So the only way they can get something out of this game is actually trying to play into their hands, which maybe allow Arsenal to come in and try to hit them on the counter-attack, whatever they do. We want them to at least try to show us that they have something to prove playing against this one. This is a derby. You expect something, but we want to see how they're going to be able to do it. And like what my man Steven Nicol is saying, it's gonna take a lot from this team to actually see what they do, because they're not scoring many goals. Don't be surprised with the goals that they've just scored. I was hearing another stat that I had. I don't know which was yesterday, that of the 11 goals that Chelsea has scored this season, 8 of them have come from the bottom 3. Now they're playing with the top 3. How are they going to get the goals? What's going to happen? Those are the questions that we have to ask. They have to find a way to be defensive in this game, because if they open up, man, it's going to be a long day. It's going to really be a long day. There are so many players there, and it's going to be a long day. In fact, 1 billion of players, and it's going to be
putting up a fight.
You think the same, Ali?
Well, the bar is very low for Chelsea. And while, again, perhaps you feel a little positive energy because of what they have done lately, look, this is a test that I don't think Chelsea's quite ready for. Speaking of quite ready, you have to really make sure, if you're Mikel Arteta, that Bukayo Saka is actually completely 100% fit and ready to go in order to put him out there on the field. It's very early on in the season to make this or turn this from a 2-3 week injury to a 6-week injury, right, because you're trying to push them against Chelsea. I don't think this early in the season, even if it is against Chelsea, I don't think this game is worth the risk. If Bukayo Saka is so...
They can still win without...
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. They can still win without Bukayo Saka, or they should be able to win without Bukayo Saka. But I think in order for Arsenal to achieve the things that they want to achieve this season, he's going to have to be at the center of everything that they do in the attack. He gives this team something different down the right-hand side, and just his presence on the field creates, I think, a different type of energy for Arsenal in the final third. So don't take a chance if you don't have to. You have to be very sure that Bukayo Saka is 100% fit, ready to go. I don't care what the player tells you. The player's always going to tell you, I'm good.
Right.
I don't care what the doctors tell you either. Even if they tell you they're ready, if I were Mikel Arteta, wait another
Isn't
week.
that what your doctors are there for?
Nah.
Don't listen to the doctors.
Don't listen to those guys.
Right,
don't listen to the machines. Don't listen to that.
I've heard that.
All I'm saying is, if you feel like, okay, he's ready, we're not in April. We're not March, April. This is not deciding time just yet. I don't think you risk him.
But that's why they bought Trossard, who's done a good job for them. That's why they bought Havertz. You know, he's tried to play him in the midfield 3. We've all talked about it and said it wouldn't work, and hasn't. But he can certainly play in one of the front 3 positions. I mean, if he can't do that, it's pointless him being at the club. Never mind, he's paid 70 million for him. If he can't come in and play on the left or the right or through the middle if there's an injury as a striker, and we know he can, he's done it, you know, now and again for Chelsea, but a lot for Leverkusen when he was younger. If he can't do that when Saka's out, what's the point? Yeah. Unless he was a free transfer and it was a no-brainer. But he hasn't been. He's a big money signing. But if you're Chelsea, and you're at home and you want to get a momentum and the crowd behind you, what do? You go early, you let Raya have it, and then you press.
Right.
And you go them in, you figure it out, and you go them in to playing the ball out at the back. Because he's going to do it. We've talked about it. He's going to play these little short hospital passes to the centre-halves and to the midfielders that come short, and that's when Chelsea are going to press. And then we'll see if he's got a mistake in him. We'll see if he continues to do it. Because Arteta has said, I don't care. I want him to continue. I've told him, keep doing it, keep doing it. And so Chelsea, I think, have to try and hang on to that we need to make them make mistakes. Because if they don't, and it's a head-to-head matchup, Arsenal will win.
Yeah.
So they've got to figure out a way to make Arsenal make mistakes.
And enforcing Arsenal to make those mistakes, that's when you can run into a goal if you're Chelsea. Not by your own creativity.
Who's the guy who scored?
Jackson.
Hey, on loan at Southampton. They can run into a goal because of one of those mistakes. Chelsea are not good enough at this point, I don't think, to be breaking people down with 10 passing sequences.
Right.
But a pass back that goes wrong, maybe that's where you get some momentum. Maybe that's where you jump ahead of Arsenal and you hang on after that.
And the problem with Chelsea...
The most interesting thing that we're going to be looking at in this game, because building up into this game, we're just so excited over what's going to be happening. What Ali is talking about, I think is very, very important that we need to highlight into it. If you're Arsenal in this game, this is one of the games. You're not playing like the Chelsea of 2 years ago, even of 3 years ago. This is not a high team that will cause you problems. You are playing with a team that is lack in confidence, a team that is still looking for their own play style. They are trying to find even their starting 11. I don't even think Mauricio Pochettino has it. Don't try to risk players who are not ready to get into the game. Don't try to make players who still need to find their feet into the game to play in this, because that'll cause more injuries rather than to help the team to be ready to at least try to compete. So that's really gonna be important to see how they set it up, and that's gonna really be important to see how they're going to actually implement and go forth for this game, because there's a lot of mistakes that can happen in this game and we can actually enjoy. And also the other thing that was said, which is very important from Craig, because we know what Arsenal are gonna bring. We all know what Arsenal are gonna give us. We all expect Arsenal to be the team that is all over and that is causing problems. But our problem is on the Chelsea side. If Chelsea side does any mistake of trying to play 1-against-1 with this team, man, they're going to regret it, because there will be a lot of problems that will happen and they will leave this team with so many problems that they need to deal with. So they need to work on the fact that they are ready for that one and see where we go from there. But the other thing that could happen is this. Arsenal always starts slow. Raya has so many mistakes that he makes when the game is starting. Take advantage of those mistakes. Make them make mistakes. Hurt them when it's too early. Make them suffocate. That could be the only way that I feel Chelsea can get a goal. And after getting a goal, come back, defense position, allow these guys to come and always leave 1 or 2 players into counter-attack, because that's the only way one person can think they can get something out of this game. Because if they try to sacrifice in this game, if they try to do something that is not even what we expect them to do, they'll be in trouble. So it's going to be really exciting to see how this one plays out, so that we can see how the game goes on.
We discussed this a lot, Stevie, is this run of games that they have now, which is really tough. And the last thing you want is to start it off, as you say, with a shellacking.
Right, and so it's about getting something from the game. And I think Pochettino has to forget about, as Craig said, going toe-to-toe, because if he does, he'll lose the game. He has to compete. And if that means playing ugly, then that's what you do. If it means the goalkeeper gets everybody up, which won't happen all the time, but should happen a fair amount of time. And again, as Craig said, put pressure on Arsenal. Play the game in Arsenal's half of the field. Because if it doesn't quite work out and somebody makes a mistake, you've still got time to recover.
Right.
That's how they get something from this game, because they cannot go and try and just outplay Arsenal. They can't.
Let's take a look at predictions, shall we? Is anyone going to go for Chelsea, or maybe you can give them a draw at Stamford Bridge? No. Everyone's going for an Arsenal victory. 2-0 Craig, 2-1 Stevie, 1-0.
I feel comfortable about my prediction now.
I thought you said you can't see a goal coming for Chelsea.
Yeah, it's going to be an own goal. 2-1. It's going to be an own goal.
Breuer.
Well, they got two.
And it's really clear what we are expecting from this game. When we think about how we see it going, we see nothing but an Arsenal win. But also we can also hope that Chelsea can produce something. And like I'm saying, they need to take advantage in terms of hurting this team, in terms of mistakes that they make, and hit them on the counter or something. Because if they can't, they'll be in trouble. And like what Steve is saying, try to go at Arsenal in the first few minutes, and you try to go back when you feel like you're in trouble. Because if you don't do, you'll be in trouble, because now you've got a potential of Saliba and Saka gonna be out. And my predictions, by the way, check out the video that comes next. I already did my predictions. You can check them out. I want to hear from you. Do me a favor. Click the like button, subscribe to the Connect. We are out. In fact, the Liverpool game is on already, people, while I'm doing this reaction. So I'm disappearing, people. I'll be back giving you my thoughts on the game of Liverpool versus Everton. Let's go. Click the like button and we are out. Adios.